Welcome back. We're ready to move on to the next section of how you would actually use the side pack out in the fields and preparation and operation of the instrument. So how exactly does the side pack work is the next step we'll be reviewing, in addition to some important issues to be aware of, such as the flow rate, and to remind yourself that the side pack is fragile. We'll also be talking about how data is collected out in the field, the measurements themselves with the side pack, as well as the observations on the observation sheets. So how does the TSI AM510 side pack work in measuring particulate matter at 2.5 microns? The side pack uses what's called light scattering technology and is able to make real-time measurements through drawing in air through an inlet valve on the side of the side pack. The air is drawn through the instrument itself and past a laser. The particles in the air are then scattered past the laser, and the device then measures or determines the mass concentration of those particles based on the amount of light that's scattered. We're talking about PM2.5, so the side pack that you would be using is actually fitted with a 2.5 micron impactor, which is contained in that inlet valve on the side of the side pack itself. What happens is that impactor actually removes particles greater than 2.5 microns, so that the meter only responds to particles that are less than 2.5. Thus, we get particulate matter 2.5. The side pack is actually calibrated to read PM2.5 in milligrams per cubic meter. And then just as a note, the side pack is generally preset to take 1-minute log intervals when collecting the data, which averages the previous 60-second measurements. This is something that would be preset, as I said, on the instrument itself, but if your needs change and you need to set that to a different interval, you can go ahead and do that. I mentioned that there'd be some special issues that you needed to be aware of. One of those would be the flow rate calibration. Generally speaking, this is something that would be done ahead of time, before you get even close to the field. But prior to that, if you don't have the side pack, the institution where you'd be borrowing it or renting it from, such as Roswell Park or Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, would already have this calibrated for you. Let's just quickly review this for your own information. The flow calibration actually needs to be set at 1.7 liters per minute in order for the 2.5 micron impactor to work effectively. The sample flow rate can actually be calibrated with either a simple pre-calibrated rotometer or using a primary flow calibrator. Note, it's important for you to remember that you should not change the sample flow rate. If you're borrowing the side packs from an institution, as I said, we'll have them set for you, and once we send them to you, you should not change those. You should also not change it once you've started the study or your field collection, as this can interfere with your results. So moving on to how to actually prepare and use the side pack out in the field. We've divided this up into before you collect samples, to during sampling, and after you've collected your samples. So before you collect your sample, you need to ensure that your battery on your side pack is charged. We recommend charging it overnight. You'll need to clean and grease the impactor daily, and you'll need to zero calibrate the side pack. We'll review each of these steps in more detail in the upcoming slides. While you're actually out in the field collecting a sample of PM2.5, you'll need to, of course, log or record the data into memory, into the side pack itself, and you'll need to complete any observation sheets. Once you've completed your sampling in the field, you'll need to return back to your clean environment where you can upload your data from the side pack to the PC using your USB cord, and then you'll want to inspect the data on the computer to ensure that it was properly transferred. And then you need to make sure you back up your data onto the desktop, and preferably also onto something like a pen drive or a thumb drive, so that you have it in multiple locations and it's easy to send on for analysis. For more information or a better understanding of what's to follow, it may be helpful to review your side pack user guide or any quick references that you may have that's associated with the side pack. What follows is meant to be an overview of the necessary steps to complete a typical secondhand smoke air monitoring study using the side pack. Now, your protocol may call for different specifications and different steps, so you'll need to review that before you proceed. It's important to make sure that the battery on the TSI side pack is fully charged before going out into the fields. Here we've illustrated the necessary steps to ensure that the battery is being charged and how to actually charge the battery. If you're using the TSI side pack outside the US and need to charge the battery, you may need to look into obtaining an adapter. Once you've plugged in the adapter to the wall and into the side pack screen will initially say detecting battery type, and then it'll turn to saying charging battery. Once the battery is fully charged, the screen will indicate this. It may take up to 5.5 hours to fully charge your side pack. We recommend that you charge your side pack every day to ensure a fully charged side pack before you go out into the field. In addition to charging the side pack, it's important that you also clean and grease the impactor. The impactor can be found on the side of the side pack itself. It's the black object with the tube sticking out. The tube is the inlet section. We call this the inlet assembly. You'll need to remove this from the side pack by removing the 2 screws with a screwdriver, either one that you have on hand, but preferably the one that's provided with your materials. You'll remove the impactor insert from the inlet assembly by gently pushing it out with the screwdriver. You want to ensure not to scratch or accidentally scrape the inside of the inlet assembly while removing the impact insert. Wipe off the smaller end of the impactor with a Kim wipe tissue provided with your materials. Now that you have the impactor insert removed from the inlet assembly, you're going to want to take a very small amount of grease, which is also supplied with your materials, whether or not that you've borrowed the side pack from another institution or purchased it yourself. You want to take a small amount of the grease and wipe it over the smaller end of the impactor and around the black O-rings on the larger end of the impactor. Wipe off the excess grease with the tip of your finger, leaving a very small amount of it on the 2 areas, on the top and on the bottom. Carefully slide the impactor back into the inlet assembly until it's fully seated. Now you're ready to reattach the inlet assembly back onto the side pack by putting the 2 screws, which you previously removed, with the screwdriver. You'll need to repeat this process daily. So now we've charged the side pack and we've greased and cleaned the impactor. We're ready to move on to zero calibration. You'll need to actually turn on your side pack to do this. To turn it on, press the page key. You'll need to wait approximately 1 minute for the pump to start up and the readings to stabilize. The screen will read survey mode. Press the page key, then the down arrow until 0 cal is displayed on the screen. Then you'll press enter. Attach the 0 filter and press enter again. The 0 filter is displayed here. Wait until 0 calibration is finished, which should last about 1 minute. You'll then press the page key again until back in survey mode. With the 0 filter still attached, verify that the reading on the front of the monitor or the side pack stays near 0.000 milligrams per meter cubed or below 0.003 milligrams per meter cubed. If the reading is not near 0 milligrams per meter cubed, then repeat the 0 calibration until it is. Once it is near and stays near 0, you can go ahead and remove the 0 filter. For any of these steps, you may want to refer to your user manual for more detailed information. We also have some video trainings available on this website that can give you a visual of how to proceed with each of these. So you'll need to ensure that you 0 calibrate the side pack before each data collection or each day. So we've charged the battery, greased and cleaned the impactor, and 0 calibrated the machine. We're actually ready now to begin collecting some data. So once again, to turn on the side pack, you'll want to press the page key and wait about a minute for the pump to start working. Once the display on the front of the screen reads survey mode, you'll want to press the page key until you get down to the data log menu. Once the menu or the screen reads data log, press the enter key. Now you'll want to press the down arrows until run manual is displayed on the screen. Now you'll press the enter key again. The screen should now read data logging. From this point on, your machine is actually storing data on the internal processor. Now that the device is actually collecting a sample, you want to make sure that you lock the device. Locking the device will help prevent accidental pressing of any buttons during logging. To lock the device, you press and hold the up arrow and then press enter. Now that you're actually recording data out in the field, you'll want to use your observation sheet to document the time that you started collecting data and then the time that you stopped collecting data. As we previously mentioned in the earlier section, you'll need to spend at least 5 minutes outside the venue that you're collecting your sample in to get some background information. You can just hang out outside for 5 minutes, but once you go inside, you might then want to lock the device and actually start recording the time at that point. If the venue you're going to has no idea that you're going to be collecting a sample, as we mentioned previously, you might want to use a bag to place the side pack in so you can discreetly collect a sample. Using a bag with the side pack also provides some mobility. It's easiest to walk around if the side pack's in a bag versus you just holding it or clipping it to your belt. If you're placing it in a bag, you want to make sure that enough of the tube is actually sticking outside of the bag to draw air sample into the side pack itself. Once you have completed collecting your sample in the venue or the room location and you're ready to head back to the office, go ahead and remove the side pack from your purse or bag and unlock the device. To unlock the device, press and hold the up arrow and then press enter. Press the enter key 2 times to stop logging data. Press the page key several times until the device returns to survey mode. This will be displayed on the front display panel on the side pack. To turn off the side pack, hold the page key for 3 seconds. It's important to note that data is automatically saved onto the side pack and it will not be lost once you turn the side pack off. You should also remember to back up your data immediately after turning the side pack off and bringing it to the office. You'll want to connect it to the computer. So let's just briefly review what we went over. You'll need to spend approximately 5 minutes again outside of the building to collect background information or background data. The side pack should log or record data for a minimum of 30 minutes in each room within the building where you wish to collect a sample. You'll need to record the entry and exit times of each of those rooms that you visit. Otherwise, the data that's collected on the side pack will be useless during analysis, as we won't know where you were or what rooms you were collecting data in. You should go to the buildings at times during normal occupancy, such as meal times in restaurants, or late in the evening if you're visiting a bar or nightclub. When using the side pack, it's important to keep it discreet or hidden so that you don't bias or change the occupant's normal smoking behavior or draw too much attention to yourself. This is true even if you have permission or have been requested to come to a venue, such as a hospital, a school, or government building, to take some sample collections. The monitor should be located on a table or bar and not on the floor, so that the air being sampled is within the occupant's normal breathing zone. If you're keeping the side pack in a bag, it can be located in a single area of the room or circulated throughout. As we mentioned in the previous section, with the illustration or the figure of the source of secondhand smoke being the smoker and the different types of monitoring that can take place, air monitoring or biomonitoring, the volume of the room where the secondhand smoke exposure takes place is important to capture because it can influence the amount of secondhand smoke a person may encounter. Here you see ways to measure the room dimensions. You need to measure the length, the width, and the height of the room to give an approximate idea of the volume of the room itself. This can be done with a tape measure or other high-tech devices. Or you can simply count your strides and determine the length and the width, and you can use the height from your tip of your fingers to the floor to determine the length or the height of the room. To do this, you would need to measure your stride. For example, if you've measured your stride and it's approximately 0.5 meters, you can count out the length of the room. If the length of the room is 20 strides, you would take 20 times the length of your stride, which is 0.5 meters, to determine the length of the room. This comes out to be 10 meters. Similarly, you would do the same for the width. And for the height, you would just simply stand up next to the wall, stretch out your arm, and determine how far it is from the tips of your fingers to the ceiling, and add that on to the height that you know from the tips of your fingers to the floor. This gives an estimate of the room volume. Again, it doesn't need to be a precise measure. As we mentioned in the previous section, the volume of the room can determine the concentration of secondhand smoke exposure a person will encounter. Throughout this presentation, we've talked about recording observations on an observation sheet. Let's briefly just discuss what types of observations you should typically record. As we've mentioned several times as well, time at the beginning and the end of sample collection is crucial for data analysis. You need to record it once you enter the room and exit the room. In addition to the time, you'll want to count the number of people and the number of burning cigarettes or smokers including people who smoke cigarettes, cigars, pipes, or water pipes. Every 15 minutes this should be done. Other descriptive notes may include the presence of any signage, such as smoking signs. Are they present? No smoking signs, are they present? Is there any restriction or smoking policy in effect in the particular venue or room that you're in? Any ashtrays? Any cigarette butts on the floor? This list can be endless, and it's best to include as much observational data as you can. Here you see an example of one of our PM2.5 observation sheets. Right now you see it as in a complete piece of paper, but what happens is you fold it up into a tiny little rectangle, which will fit nicely into the palm of your hand so that you can discreetly take observational notes while out in the field. It's an important note to remember that once the data has been collected and brought back into the office, these field sheets should be ideally copied as a backup and sent on to data analysis with the SidePack. Now that you've collected data out in the field, you'll need to download the data from the SidePack onto your PC computer. To do this, you'll obviously need to turn on your PC and make sure that your Track Pro software, version 3.4 or later, has been installed. You'll need to turn on the SidePack, and again to do this, you press the page key. You'll need your USB cable to connect the SidePack to the computer. You'll take the larger end of the USB cable and insert it into an available USB port on your PC computer. Take the smaller or mini USB end of the USB cable and insert it into the USB port on the side of the SidePack. Now that the SidePack and the computer are connected, you'll want to open up the Track Pro software. Once the Track Pro software is open, you'll need to make sure that the SidePack aerosol monitor is selected from the drop-down menu. Go to the File menu and select Receive. This will enable the PC then to communicate with your SidePack. Now the logged data currently stored in the SidePack memory will be displayed. Select the relevant logged data and click Receive. The PC will then download the selected logged data to the PC. Now the data can be saved onto the PC or transferred to another program such as Excel or viewed graphically with Track Pro. At this point, it's important to remember to back up the data once again. You should probably save it onto the desktop or the hard drive and then back it up once again with a thumb or pin drive. Once all data has been entered and cleaned, statistical analysis can be conducted in order to make inferences about the research questions that are most relevant to your study goals and objectives. Such analysis can include descriptive analysis and can even be more complex using multivariate analysis techniques. This is dependent upon your objectives of the study and the target audience for the findings. Once you've completed your data analysis, it's important to disseminate your findings. Dissemination or knowledge transfer is the process of conveying information to an audience, such as presenting the results of a monitoring study to the media through a press release. It's important to create a dissemination strategy while you're actually planning the research design. Study objectives will influence who your audience will be for your dissemination strategies. The SidePack that we talked about using today for measuring PM2.5 can be bought or borrowed or rented. You can buy a SidePack through TSI, who's the manufacturer of the SidePack, or you can borrow a SidePack from Johns Hopkins or from Roswell Park. Here at Hopkins, we can provide many different forms of assistance to conduct a PM2.5 study. We can provide training on the equipment use and data collection. We can provide equipment. We can help you design a study to measure PM2.5 as a marker of exposure to secondhand smoke. We can assist in data analysis, and we can also help you generate reports and disseminate your findings. For more information, or if you have questions or needs of technical assistance, please contact us at the Institute for Global Tobacco Control at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. You can contact me directly at my email address, lhep@jhsph.edu, and you can find more information on our website. Thank you for watching this presentation, and I hope you now have a better understanding of how to conduct fieldwork associated with PM2.5.